Well, morning turfers, down in Rosslyn today. Just got off the 140 bus, used my trusty bus pass as a pensioner. So we're just going to have a wander down the river, pick up a few zones, down to Lasswade and back across to Pontyrig. Been a while since I've done a video actually. I had hoped to have my new Rode wireless microphone, but it's been delayed, so perhaps next time. So we're just walking down to the Rosslyn Castle. Grabbed a couple of zones in Rosslyn. We're at the old chapel. Lots of tourists milling about looking for the secret. I always think the big secret is there isn't one, but it brings the tourists in. I always just think that the masons that built it just wanted to test you to your limits, you know, all the young apprentices. But it's a nice day. I'll just go and get this zone. Just coming down those steps there. They're really awkward steps. Too big for a single step. So you need to take 2 steps per step. Quite awkward. So we're actually under the castle bridge now.
Taking zone.
There we go. Oh, well, I'm on foot today. There we go, onwards. So you can actually take the zone from underneath as well. I do like the geology here. The rocks. There's the castle up there, the bridge of the castle. It's a kind of awkward route this. Okay for walking. A lot of boardwalks or duck walks, whatever you call them. Certainly doesn't make it easy to cycle or kick scoot. I wonder if they'll ever upgrade it. Might spoil it that way, I suppose. I do wonder, last time I came down here I had my kick scooter and I lugged it all the way. It's at night as well. I must be mad. Had a little beep there on the phone. A message. Let's see. Oh, it's WhatsApp. I'll have to leave that till later. So intrusive, these mobile phones. I sometimes kind of yearn for the old days when I used to go out. Didn't have phones, put film in the camera, and I had a notebook and a pen to record notes and stuff. Good old analog. Oh, I like this bit. Very Jurassic with the giant horsetails. I just wonder if a velociraptor might pop up somewhere. Definitely Jurassic Park. Well, gone and done it again. I always miss the junction there for the Zone North Esk way down towards the river. No matter. As long as I get my 5 a day. It's very humid today. I was out last night actually, down at Lasswade, just after dark. Parked at Quarry Corner, walked across the golf courses out to the subs. Hello, you right there? Are you lost? Are you lost? There's a wee dog there. Nobody about. This way, look. I'm going to see if I can find the owner of this dog. Doggy found its mum. It looked quite distressed actually. Poor wee thing. Yes, down at Lasswade. Out to the subs. Back along the beach. To the old man, got the zone there. Then up Gullen Hill. Got the zone, and then just took a bearing across the golf course to the quarry and back to the car. All very pleasant. Got quite cool actually. A nice evening. Saw a shooting star. Heard lots of birds. Lots of deer rumbling about. Rabbits and a fox. So, got a good time. Decide what to do tonight. Get a bit overgrown in places. Try and not miss the next zone. Although I do believe there's a sign on the tree saying you can't get through because of landslides. So I shouldn't miss that one. But you never know. Did try and get through that route once at night, the night I encountered the young badgers. But okay, you could do it on foot I think, but it was too much hassle with the scooter. There we go, found it this time. Go down and get the zone. The only downside is you just need to come back up again. But it's all part of the game. Another tree down. I suppose you can see why it's a challenging route on a bicycle. Although I did come this way once when it was still open. I still remember lugging the bike over big trees. Very lush vegetation here just now, quite damp, the rain earlier. I think I said before, I always think of it as very Jurassic. Although the geology here is actually Carboniferous period. All the sandstone and the shale and the coal bands. There we go, taking zone. And about back again. Must be about lunchtime. Got some juice in the wee shop in Rosslyn. Lunchtime. It says lunchtime on the clock. I went into the wee Asian shop, the wee convenience store. What a dour lady. She never smiled once. Watched me like a hawk. I guess she's school children going in and pilfering, as they do sometimes. So just heading back up again. Puff, puff, puff. Could have done with my shorts on today, but I decided on long trousers. See if I can pick up fewer ticks than normal. Picked up 7 the other night round Dalhousie. 1 adult, which was easily spotted, and 6 of the little nymphs, which you only really see once they bite you and you start itching. Nasty little buggers. And then every little itch you have, you think, oh no, another tick. You know, scratch, scratch, itchy, itchy. That's a J. Ah. I'm getting old. I can just imagine these youngsters like Hodge belting along here up and down on his bike. Actually, that looks a good spot for lunch. I think we shall go there. Sit on the edge of the cliff and try not to fall over. See if I can show you how far down it is. Before I start my lunch, I'll show you a bit of kit I've got which you might find useful. It's a foam bat with a cover on it, waterproof cover. Wildlife watching supplies. Folds up, put it in your bag, saves you getting a wet bum, and it makes it more comfortable or warmer in the winter. Well worth having. Wildlife watching supplies, I think. Quite expensive, but worth it. Keep one in every bag. Oh yes. No damp bum. On with the food. Well, just dropping downhill now to the river. I'll pick up a zone shortly. So there's a chatter starting on the WhatsApp about the Daily 5 now as we're approaching the big day. On about the 9th of September, I think. That'll be the 365. I'm a few days behind. I missed a day, about day 3 or 4, I had to start again, so nearly there. Wonder what we're going to do next. Will they have something else that they're going to introduce at the time and that they've been keeping secret? Just coming up to Zone Ford crossing, which is still a neutral. There we go, taking zone. Quite a lot of water running today. I think the first time I came here that was practically dry. So we've got the little red signal warning. Not surprised, I've no bars on the phone. Try all the different tricks there. Zone taken. Let's say it's very pleasant down here today. Only sounds of the river trickling by. A few birds, crows in the background, buzz of flies, my footsteps. Very tranquil. I think a lot of the birds will be quietening down now with the molt for the autumn plumage for the winter. A lot of birds, when they lose a lot of condition when they're nesting. You maybe notice that if you've got blue tits in a nest box in your garden. The feathers get worn and tatty, and then once they've finished breeding they'll molt into fresh plumage. Plod, plod, plod up the steps. I suppose once upon a time when I was younger I would have run up here. It's interesting, as you get older you tend to think back more for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I do. I suspect it's maybe because you've got more back than you have forward now. Oh well, we're up now. No more steps. Actually, this spot here is where Hugh and Cottage used to be. In 1979 there was a landslide. 100,000 tonne of debris swept down into the river, into the North Esk, opposite Springfield Mill. And of course the mill was all flooded, made a right mess. I've actually explored the face of it a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Got some nice sand samples for the collection. It's all overgrown now, not so easy to find stuff. That's an interesting hobby you should try, sand collecting. Basically, you go to the beach and you collect little samples of sand, as you might expect. But if you look closely on a beach, wind and wave, tide, separates the sand into different grades. So you get very fine wind-blown sand up at the top, wind-blown sand I should say at the top. You get little areas of coarse sand and you get smooth sand. Then you get bits where the shells have been sorted and you get sand there. And then there's the black sand as well, which is magnetic minerals, magnetite, limonite. You can actually collect that with a magnet. That gives you a nice black sample. It's daft really, stupid hobby, but it gets you out and about. Now I've explored almost every accessible beach, cove, nook and cranny between Edinburgh and Eyemouth. So I've got 850 samples. There's a few I'd like to get to, but I really could do with rope gear down steep embankments. A bit dodgy. And I've got them all filed away in little glass vials labelled in sort of 10 shallow drawer steel racks in the shed. And I've got blank shelves ready for Fife if I ever get round to doing it, which I was going to do until turf came along. But perhaps you could combine the two. Take the Swifty, kick scooter or the bike, turf the coastal path, get sand, combine them all, make a video. I've got an endless list of jobs, projects, tasks I want to do. I'm never going to finish them all. Mind you, I'm only 61, another 39 years to go. Plenty time. There's a downside to this filming lark. You don't concentrate on your turfing and you walk right past the zones. So I'm walking back now to get this zone. There we go. Bit annoying. Hewn wood. Owner Abo. Met her a few times, a couple of times. There we go. Now down to Springfield Mill. Get the zone there. This is an interesting little bit of path here. It's almost like a knife edge ridge between the river on this side and the wee barn on this side. Sort of carved out, each side is eaten in. I suppose it's only a matter of time before it erodes away. It's probably just sand and gravel, I suspect, unless there's some underlying rock. But It looks like sand and gravel to me. Probably just these trees that are holding it all together. And if you look over the edge, long way down. Difficult to get the scale though when you're filming. I think I got that Grand Canyon effect where it looks huge when you're there, but in the photograph it doesn't. And up the steps. I've been watching an interesting wee series on the telly on BBC, Ian Robertson Rambles, as in walking rather than talking. He does the Speyside Way and the Southern Upland Way, kind of filming it himself with the same kind of GoPro and the handheld stick. There's a wee drone as well he uses, which has got me thinking about the drone again. I kind of discounted it. It's not worth the bother. £1,000 cost, and then you need the flyer ID and the operator ID. You set a test. It's probably not that difficult, but I can't get it into my head if it's worth it or not. Where's the path go? I mean, in this wood here, could I use it? Could I get it to follow me as I walk along or precede me? That would be good. The one I was thinking of has got obstacle avoidance built in, so it'll detect the trees above and side of it. And no, it doesn't detect them above, it has the side and the base, the bottom. So I should maybe just bite the bullet and go for it. Try not to fall down these steps. A wee bit slippy. Well, that was the zone at Springfield Mill taken. So let's head downstream now. Get the zones at Mavis Bank House. Springfield Mill is long demolished, not much there now. A few piles of rubble. It's a kind of nature reserve with a few paths and picnic benches. I've been thinking about trying to get a better time on the eager weasel. Is it the weasel? Oh yes, I think it is. Or the ferret, can't remember. Oh dear. Anyway, I want to try and better my 9:01 time. I know it's under 10 minutes, but I want to see if I can better it. I also want to try and film it. So my thought was to mount the camera on the front rack of the bike on a vertical selfie pole. Probably need to brace it a bit with something. Maybe get some black carbon fibre struts and clamp it together. The only downside is the wide angle lens on this isn't wide enough to get me all in. So I've ordered this thing called the GoPro Max Lens Mod, which gives me a wider angle. It's also got this thing that it'll do, if I film at 2.7K, it keeps the horizon level, no matter how you wiggle the GoPro about or the bike. So that'll be interesting to see how that thing comes out. So I'm kind of waiting on that coming, and I'll get my Rode wireless microphone, so even with the camera further away I can talk to camera and give you a commentary on taking the zones and what and the like. So lots to do. So just heading up to Mavis Bank House now, get the zone. This is one of my ones actually. I suggested it, sitting at neutral. It's kind of out of the way, wee bit of a walk, decent path, no problem there. But I guess some people just don't bother with it. I suppose if you're looking for points, it's not very efficient that way. I'll show you this bit here. This is the walled garden. Would have been part of the estate, I suppose, when the house was all in its heyday. It looks like it belongs to a house now, a cottage or something. A little robot lawnmower sitting there. 1, 2, 3, 3 of them, 4 of them probably. Anyway, up the hill. And I'll show you Mavis Bank House, or what's left of it. And there we go, Mavis Bank House, or what's left of it. You've got a big fence to keep people out. Thing is, what can you do with that? Unless you can get some rich person with millions, tens of millions to spare. What are you going to do with it? I know there's the Friends of Mavis Bank House or whatever, trust or whatever. But you know, if we're ever going to get that kind of money, even the money to stabilise it is going to cost a fortune. At the moment, home to wood pigeons and jackdaws. I suppose if I won the Euro Millions, 197 million, wasn't it? I give them 10 million, 20 million to see it restored as a community centre, cafe, resource, art, whatever. I don't know. Not much chance of winning that. Don't do the lottery anymore. I did it every day since it started when I retired. Did it personally and did it at work, and I'm still poor. Never won my millions. It's interesting though, now that I've retired, I've got some savings and there's nothing I really want. Don't really need another car. I've got my bits and pieces. I've got my bikes, my scooter, my cameras, my blog. We've got food and we can pay the bills. I don't need an Aston Martin. Certainly don't want to go round the world cruises. Ugh. It's funny what you dream about through life, and then you get to the point where you're content just to poodle about, turfing, making videos, collecting sand, taking photographs, pottering about in the man cave, building bicycles, writing up the blog, looking for bricks, making Catherine's tea, hanging out the washing. Never ending. It's interesting being retired as well. Everything's more chilled. There's no problems, no stress, no worries. You just relax. Although, I suppose it's always in the back of your mind, this energy costs, huge increases. We should be alright. It's funny, on the news they're recommending people turn their heating down from 20 to 18 to save energy. We have ours at 15, and if it gets cold we put a jumper on, you know. Kathleen was saying yesterday, when we were younger, we didn't have heating in our rooms. You just wrapped up warm. Okay, you were cold, you survived, you know. I know my bedroom didn't have any heating in it. But there you go. So just heading downstream again. We've got the zone just further down here. And then there's 2 zones in Lasswade. And then we've got the wee brae into Bonnyrig. I'm afraid I'm scoffing chocolate again. I only ate half that Snickers duo I had. And I'm afraid it was calling from the rucksack, eat me. I'm afraid just having chocolate there and not eating is a challenge. Yes, it's not a Kit Kat, but it's chocolate. There we go, taking zone. Catch you later. So just coming up to another zone, Mr. Kevok. I think Kevok is a local name for an estate or farm or something, or some sort of landowner or entrepreneur or businessman, or don't know what. There we go, 185 points. That's that. There's some wire. Can't have that on the path. I'll catch that in your... That was some wire hanging out there. Probably from an old fence or something. Don't want to catch that on your bike when you're whizzing past. You'll be doing a nose plant. So up we go again, up the steps. There's a couple of zones about here. There's one up at the Lone Head Road, which I'm going to leave, because I want to show you these little paths. Much more interesting. So you can follow these little paths all the way through Lasswade and come out at the zone at Lasswade Church, where the zone is. Mind you, it's not the ideal route for a bicycle or kick scooter in either direction. So if you wanted to get the zone on the Lone Head Road, you go that way. But we're going to go along the path, which is opposite. There's a lot of signs saying footpath, which is very useful. So we shall follow the wee secret footpath. I meant to mention earlier, when I was at Lasswade, I was coming over the golf course in the dark, it was 11:30, and I saw this really bright light ahead of me, and I thought it must be a low-flying helicopter or something, or somebody on a motorbike, or bright bike lights coming right in my direction. And I watched it and kept on walking, expecting to police on a quad bike or something. Turns out it was a floodlight had come on at Kilspindy golf course, and this kind of an example of how difficult it can be at night to judge distance. It was a nice night though. It wasn't too creepy. So if anybody wants to do a night turf at Lasswade, let me know. We can sort something out. I just swallowed a fly there. So it's a very pleasant little route, this part of the journey. Quite shaded, nice and cool. And then it starts to open out here as we approach Lasswade. There we go, down into Lasswade. But we'll go up to the old church, get the zone, let you have a look there. It's interesting, there's a Bonnyrig viaduct over there. It's not accessible, it's fenced off, and there's a tunnel runs underneath the hill there comes out or not far from the health centre. I wish they'd sort of open it up, put a path in, because that'd be a great route. Maybe the tunnel's not safe, I don't know. Well, here we are, Lasswade Old Kirk. Let's take a wander around and get this on. Camera did a wobbly again, wouldn't come on, wouldn't power on. Had to pull the battery, shove it back in, and it works. I don't know why, must look. So here we go, taking zone. There we go, Lasswade Old Kirk. Can you see that? Maybe spin round. Zone taken. So, off down through Lasswade. There's a wee path here at the side. I'll go that way, rather than tramping down the tarmac street. Brings us out at the Laird and Dog. Probably a wee bit further to walk, but what the heck. In the bottom corner of the churchyard is an access gate, which I forgot totally about. So you can always come out that way. Although that's the way I normally go, and I came the other way just now, and there's a memorial there I didn't know about, and a plaque about the East India Company and stuff, some doctor guy, which was quite interesting. And this brings us out into Lasswade, as you can probably hear from the traffic. Well, I was going to take you up the wee brae, but the sign's saying path closed, so we're now going via Broomy now. No point going up the wee brae and getting 3/4 way up. I have to come back down again. So, I think that was one of mine actually, a suggestion. The Broomy Now one. So we're on the way home now. And we'll put the kettle on and have something nice to eat. There might just be a Bakewell tart in the tin. So that's me for today really, or us for today. I shall go in and edit all this and get it posted and decide what I might do tonight. I'm toying with the idea of doing a night scoot along the Pancateland railway path. So that might be quite interesting. But we shall see. Whether to scoot from the house or maybe take the scooter up in the car to the start and do it there. I think it's 5 miles from here to the start, so that's a 10-mile addition. Anyway, food for thought, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.